Welcome to my 1 Minute to Wow video tutorial. This is Mary Fish with Stampin' Pretty and stampinpretty.com. Today I'm going to show you some quick tips on how I created the coloring on this vellum cardstock for this sweet little card. As a matter of fact, the card is based on a card I saw in our demonstrator Stampin' Success magazine. Made a few little tweaks on color, but I loved it so much I just, like many of you, wanted to recreate it. But I learned a few things in the process. So I have re-stamped it. Here's the stamp set. It's called All That You Are. It's in the Occasions catalog for 2019. Beautiful, beautiful set. And I heat embossed it in white on vellum. We have two settings for the heat tool. I actually use the high setting, but I keep it moving very quickly. And then I used white embossing powder. So it really didn't affect the vellum at all by moving it really quickly. But one thing I learned really quickly was that I tried to color it on the front side with my Stampin' Blends. Love these guys. And I was getting the coloring on the white embossing, and it wasn't going anywhere, even with wiping it off. So it looked really, really messy. So a couple tips for you. First of all, so that you can see it well, I've just got a piece of, I think this might be gray granite, but something that will help make it show up. And then, as you probably just saw, I flipped it over. And I'm going to color it from the back side. The beauty of this is that you have at least that white little lip that will camouflage if you go out of the lines a little bit. So I'm just going to show you really quickly. And it isn't going to be nearly as beautiful from the back side. But you can see I just do little strokes. And it can go over the white. You don't want to go outside the white if you want kind of a neat look. But you can see how simple this is. Just drawing in. Now, one thing with the blends is they're beautiful and blend like crazy on cardstock. On vellum, they don't really do that so much, but I'll show you a couple tricks to kind of get some shading if you want it. You don't have to have shading. You can just be this beautiful, soft coloring. And again, you'll see I'm going way outside the lines. I'm going fast, but it's not going outside the outside lines, if that makes sense. And that's all fine. So I'm just coloring it in. I know you're probably thinking, oh, that's going to look like a mess, but it's not. You have to trust me. You have to trust me. And you will just fall deeper in love with your blends. Again, I'm just staying within the white, and it's going to look great. Now, if I want to add some extra depth, for example, to this flower, I can use the darker, because we always have a light and a dark combo. And I can add a little bit of extra coloring if I want. I can even go in a little bit. But it's not going to blend out like it would on cardstock, okay? So I'll just show you just briefly kind of the possibility look. And yep, you can go over that because this is the back side. It doesn't have to be pretty, okay? So you can see how I blended that out a little bit. And then I'm going to just briefly show you how fun it is to do the leaves. I'm using the brush end. Each one of our blends has more of a fine point and a brush end. And since this isn't super fine detail, I'm just going to use the brush end. What color did I grab? This is the light olive. I just love coloring. I didn't always because I was horrible at coloring for years and just really avoided it until we got the blends. And this is sort of what was meant to be for me. And then I'll keep going. Hopefully you guys are learning a little something here. And then I'm going to do the darker color on this leaf because it just feels like it's a little older or a little different. Okay, now that doesn't look amazingly gorgeous. Oh, I gotta do one more thing. I'm gonna use the fine end, just add a tiny bit of color. Only a little bit will peek through on the other side, but I think it's enough to make it pretty. So you can see how quickly I colored this with the vellum. And the look is so soft, so pretty. Got a few more of these little dudes down here. And I think I'll just leave the rest. So now when I flip it over, it's pretty perfect. It's really gorgeous. And you can see how I did that on this card with Calypso Coral. I think I also used olive here. And then it really comes to life, not so much on this, but it will come to life on a contrasting color. I think it's just gorgeous. A couple extra little tips. You can put tiny little pearls to give an accent to these flowers, and you can color them as well with your blend. So if you have white pearls, you can color those pearls to match, or we just might happen to have the coordinating pearls. This is our new olive thread. This is the sentiment from the All That You Are bundle. And this is from our Darling Label Punch Kit. It's a really cute little punch. And then I layered it on one of our 6x6 essential DSPs. I think this is Petal Pink, which would be in our subtles. And this color, just so in case I didn't say, is Bermuda Bay. That's the blue I used, and then Old Olive. So you could do the same thing with that one as well. And then I cropped it with our new stitched rectangle dies. Can you see that little bit of stitching? And then I used mini Stampin' Dimensionals in kind of strategic places, like where it's a little darker, okay, to hide that I popped this up on dimensionals. So this is all fairly clustered and dark. So I have some dimensionals below that. That allowed me to lift the vellum up just a bit to give a little more shading and shadowing and a little more of a soft frosted contrast to what's below. So thank you for joining me for my 1 Minute to Wow video tutorial. This is, the details for this card will be on my blog, and there'll be a link in the description on YouTube for you, along with a complete supply list, as well as shopping links. I love your comments. I will respond to every single one, so please leave me a comment on YouTube with any thoughts, tips, ideas, or feedback. And thank you so much for joining me today on my 1 Minute to Wow video tutorial. This is Mary Fish with Stampin' Pretty and stampinpretty.com. Bye-bye.